Yo, what's up, guys? B's back here with another video. All right, so you guys have probably heard this before. A lot of famous speakers have been talking about it, where they say, "Make your bed." That's how you start your day, right? And so there's actually a lot of merit and reason to why. Now, I'm guilty of not necessarily doing this. So my wife and I, we go to work at different times, slightly a few hours different. I go to work a few hours earlier. So I do try to make my side of the bed. It's just like a rule, right? And that's something that we both kind of set in place. But more or less, it's okay if you don't make your bed sometimes. But the reason why is because it is the first task you essentially complete for the day. So your day, as you guys know, is just basically a ritual of tasks that you may or may not do. And depending on how your life is structured, you may have a certain way you have your morning formula or your evening, however you start your day, right? So when I was working third shift, obviously you wake up at night. I mean, I guess it just depends, right, on how you have that set up. But however you first start your day, and from then on out, it gets you motivated and more inclined to completing other tasks. Such as, like, let's say, man, I really have been wanting to start this business, but I keep putting it off because X, Y, Z, right? Whatever excuse you make, I had every excuse in the book. Oh, I don't have enough money. I don't have the right equipment. I don't have enough equipment. I don't have the right chemicals, products, services. I don't have business cards. Like, it was just one thing after the other. And I feel like if you don't make time for yourself, you'll make excuses for everything. And truthfully, that leads to a very unsatisfied life. There's a reason you have these ideas in your head. Now, again, I'm not going to get super religious and spiritual on you guys, but it is part of my identity. And, I'm a pretty spiritual person. I do believe in something greater than us. I don't exactly know how we're here, right? But I do know that there's a reason you keep waking up every day and you have some kind of fire in your heart, some kind of burning desire or passion that you want more out of life than just working your 9 to 5. Or maybe if you do love your 9 to 5, dude, that's fantastic. That may be your passion, right? And I think that, like, a lot of people forget really quickly who they are when look at children, right? Like, look at when you're a child. You have so much creativity. You have so much love for life, right? And I think somewhere along the way, whether it's bad events in your life or whether it's just life in general, the mundane day in, day out, you got your routine, right? Now, some routine is good, but I think if you min max your whole life, calling me crazy, and I actually did a dual com on this. And you'll see it on his channel later on. Whenever that does happen, I'll send you guys over to his channel if you guys don't already watch him already. But we kind of touched on that a little bit with your free time, right? And min maxing your life. And I think that hustle culture is pretty toxic the way it's kind of become. I don't like to throw toxic around much because it's like it's overused, truthfully, and it's lost a lot of its meaning. But what I mean by toxic, I just mean a lot of it is they lost the plot. The whole point of hustling and grinding was to get you to a greater goal. But you don't have to be grinding your whole life, man. Don't grind your whole life away. Don't miss, your kids' baseball games for your job. Like, for example, okay, here's another one, right? I was talking to one of my friends. He's pretty successful, man. He's got his own business. He's got a bunch of techs, and they do a bunch of IT work. Well, his main goal. He had a 5. He says his life's in 5 years, and every 5 years he has like these new goals that he wants to accomplish. So he set a goal to make $1 million gross, and he did within the 5 years. And he's got his oldest, I think, is 6 years old. He's got, like, I think 2 or 3 kids. And he said that he missed a lot of the early parts, and he was there, but he wasn't there mentally, right? He wasn't present. Um, he said he couldn't really remember those 5 years, but now he knows that, like, they went from a little person to a talking human. And that's unfortunate. Like, he talked about a lot of regret of that. Now, obviously, he shouldn't feel bad about being a supportive father, right? And you shouldn't feel bad about doing things to provide for yourself and your family. You should never feel bad about that. However, I don't want you guys to live in regret. And because I try my best to never live in regret in my life, sure, there's things that I wish I did better. But dude, if you live in regret, that bill is unlimited, man. I know we say, oh, you'll pay the price, but no, that price will never get paid. Regret lives with you until you die. until you can make peace with it, which most people don't. Unfortunately, they die with their regret. So the goal is to never have it. Don't do things that it would cause you regret. Take the trip, take the family vacation. Don't go broke doing it, but spend time with your family, man. I've got to do better about seeing my grandparents and my parents while they're still here. I'm about to be 30 next year. And that's a big deal, man. You know what I mean? 30 is a big number. It's where a lot of stuff kind of starts happening in people's lives. And, it's kind of like where I think reflection happens for a lot of people, right? And so going back with this topic about making your bed, it's just setting your day up. It's starting literally the day on the right foot. You've completed a task already, so you're more inclined to take the initiative on other things that you really should be doing. If you keep getting this feeling, right? Like for me, I kept getting this feeling to start a business. Not making this about me, but I'm just relating to you guys. And my wife and I said, well, you'll either start this year or you won't. And we said that for 2 years straight. Eventually this year I got tired of, just kind of working the 9 to 5. So I started the business. And I took what I learned from my sales job a few years ago with clientele and customers and just essentially working with people, finding out their wants and needs, and supplying a service that they appreciate and like, and then they end up referring me to other people. It taught me a lot. And I think that, again, Earth School is pretty cool, man. There's so much to learn. It's pretty much an infinite amount of stuff you can learn, right? And so I think that to get the most out of life, you got to be really open to the opportunities that present themselves to you and just take them, man. If you fail, you learn something. And at the very least, you have a cool story to tell, probably. But I can tell you this, man. The best way to really wake you up in life is to see someone in bad health. Uh, I met some of my mom's friends from when I'd known them when I was a little kid in middle school. And they're not in the best health right now. They're in the process of recovering. So I've been kind of praying for them and stuff. And, I hope that eventually they recover and get in a better state. But they're older, right? They're in their 70s. And it's a reality check, man, that dude, we're not mortal or we're not immortal. We all got a time, man. And I want to enjoy all of my life, but talking to them, and they really truly live life, and they don't, as far as I know, have any known regrets. At least not that they shared. Not that I'm asking people like, hey, what's your regrets? But it's more like they really lived, man. They really had a good time. They had really struggled early on in their 20s and even their 30s, but they eventually got to a good place. They live in a beautiful house. They got a nice little neighborhood, and they just chill. And I think that's where I want to find myself sooner than later. And my wife and I had talked about that, where we just want to have some land. We don't need a big house. We don't need nice cars. Sure, that might come later, but we just want peace. That's what we've been seeking the last few years, especially. And I advise you guys to do the same. Find your passion and seek your peace. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. But you guys, of course, have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.